Well, everybody, welcome to the first ever episode of Hockey Night USA. I'm Ricky O, and I'm joined by my partner tonight, Matt Lapolis. Matty Clips, as I'm going to call him, because he doesn't like to be called Lips, but we're going to call him Clips, because if you follow this guy, he puts out more hockey news, more little clips on the internet. He's making movies, he's making moves, and he's now part of Hockey Night USA. Welcome, Matty.
Welcome. Thank you. I think you're a little too nice to me. I got that big deck energy right over here, so I just, gotta bring the passion since 1994, rocking out, man. We're excited to be here.
Well, you know what, Matty? Let's get the fans going right off the bat. You and myself have been doing shows for years. I've been doing podcasts for about 15 years on the NHL. You and I partnered up on the Instigator show, which will be on tomorrow night with Paulie D and Chris Kostopoulos. We both have a passion for this. We're both killing it on the internet with our likes and our YouTube channels and our TikTok. And I think we both had a thing for Hockey Night in Canada, and I think we're going to try to make this show. This is our first ever episode, folks, and we're going to try to make this Hockey Night USA. And he's going to be Rob McLean, and I'm going to be Don Cherry. You see, he's got a lot of stats and a lot more class than I do. He's got a lot more patience, and he's got a lot more knowledge. I'm going to say this, of all the analytics and all of that stuff that I don't watch. I just watch the game, and I watch with my eyes. But, Matt, tell us what you bring to the game right now.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think you're fluffing me up a little too much. Let's set the bar a little lower, and then I can kind of...
Not with the big deck energy, bro.
There you go. Right on. Spot on. See?
Matty, give a little background on you, Matt. What's got you into hockey? How long have you been into it? And what do you watch on a nightly basis?
So you know what? I was always a football, baseball kind of kid. Basketball was my favorite sport. I went over to one of my buddy's house when I was 12 years old, so 2006. And he was a Ranger fan, and the Rangers were playing the Sabres in the playoffs. That's how long ago it was. The Sabres were actually in the playoffs, and Rangers, of course, lost that series. But I remember watching in the playoffs, and that was the team that I root for. I'm from Long Island, so people would ask, really normally an Islander fan, but my best friend at the time was a Ranger fan, so I became a Ranger fan. I loved hockey, and then just followed it ever since. And I've been cursed with this team ever since. So,
You're also a Met fan, correct?
I am a Mets fan.
So we have a lot in common.
I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Knicks fan. Guys, I am born in 1994. The Rangers won the Stanley Cup when I was 3 months old. I've gone 124 consecutive losing seasons without a championship. I mean...
That's enough said. Now I'm going to say this. I had 2 from the Giants. I've got 1 from the Mets, and I got 1 from the Rangers. So I've seen some championships, but I haven't really had a chance to say that I'm a winner as a fan. But let's just jump into tonight. ESPN has got the hockey frenzy thing going tonight. Every team is playing. So far, I'm watching the Bruins-Islander game. Islanders are continuing to look hot. They're up 2-0 at the end of the second. I had Edmonton on a little while ago. I'm sorry, I apologize. Calgary on a little while ago with Toronto. It was a 1-1 game. What do you think of the NHL and what they're doing right now with this? Do you think this is something that can catch on? We're having these big nights on ESPN and TNT, or is this too much hockey?
I hate this. I think this is the dumbest thing, having games from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time, depending where you are. If you're on the West Coast, games start at 3. I guess it's okay if you're on the West Coast, but there's just too much going on. I don't love having everything spread out. I think part of what they're doing is because of the Olympics, and I think the schedule is getting a little more compacted because we have 2 or 3 weeks off. So I think there's a little bit of that involved. So it seems like there's a lot more games coming out quicker than there was in previous season. There's just too much going on. And to be honest with you, you have 16 officiating crews. You probably don't even have the best officiating crews if everybody's going on at once too. So I think it's great if you're a fan, but how can you possibly catch every single game? You have your option. You can watch whatever team you want, unless you're a local blackout. But, I'm not a huge fan of it. What do you think?
I think it's a little too much even for me. Now, you could see my setup behind me. I've got the fan room going. I got the studio going. I have 2 TVs side by side. I watch games. I have some on the computer next to me. I have some scores flashing on my phone. I like to watch hockey. I am the type of person that I pick certain teams and I follow them. I mentioned earlier this year on our other shows, I'm all over San Jose, Montreal, and Chicago. Plus, obviously, my favorite team in the world is the New York Rangers. So I try to watch between 3 and 5 games a night. This has got my head spinning with a guy with ADD. I don't know if you keep noticing. My head keeps going hard left over here. I have the 2 TVs on right now. I have the Tampa Bay, who's on a power play against Nashville early in the first. I have Boston at intermission. Like I said, I was watching Calgary. There's a lot of hockey. And what you said just now is the most interesting point that I've heard anyone make about this. The officiating crews. They are stretched pretty limited. They're stretched pretty thin right now.
Right.
There's a lot going on in sports. And one of the things that people really don't understand, I don't think, is the pressure to be an umpire, a referee, a football official, a basketball referee. These guys live out of a suitcase. They get just as banged up as the players do. I mean, hockey, how many times have you seen a linesman take a slap shot in the ribs, the side of the head? And these guys are just like the players. They don't miss shifts. But you know what? They're on a plane after the game. They're somewhere else the next night, and they're on the ice. This is a lot of hockey. The Olympics have condensed the schedule drastically.
Right.
They're playing every other night. And this is getting to be a lot. But, I mean, you got to love it. But I'll tell you one thing. I will not enjoy having a month off from the NHL.
No. I mean, your favorite team is the Rangers, like myself. I mean, I think it might be better for our mental health not have a month off from the NHL. But I am looking forward to the Olympics because I feel like the Olympics is a sequel this year because we had the Four Nations face-off, and that was one of the best things the NHL did in a very long time. That got everybody who wasn't even into hockey. They were into hockey for that. They were supporting Team USA, Team Canada.
Well, the Team Canada, Team USA, the 3 fights in 30 seconds turned people who never watched hockey before into hockey fans.
Exactly. And I mean, and on top of it, you have failing baseball, basketball, football, all their versions, the All-Star Game or Pro Bowl, whatever. They're all failing. You had this instead, Four Nations face-off. I mean, it's pretty cool. It was pretty cool. But I'm on record. I'm going to be the heel on this one. I think Russia should be in the Olympics.
I agree.
I think that I get everything going on politically, but some of the best players in the world are Russian, and they would certainly have maybe not the favorite to win gold, but they would certainly be. I would say they to at least medal. I mean, I think the Olympics would be better with the Russians, but I know everybody has their opinion on what's going on over there in Ukraine, but. That's how I feel.
Here's my deal with sports. If you really wanted to drive it home, then the NFL should be missing half of their players on their roster for being murderers, rapists, criminals, wife beaters. The NHL has their fair share of shady individuals. Baseball, with all the controversy they've gone through, basketball now with the gambling, you might as well just shut the league down at this point.
Correct.
I'll be honest with you, getting off key a little bit. I heard a story which I put out first, and now it's starting to trickle a little bit. Did you see my story about how I was told by a very high up officer Diddy turned evidence? And a lot of this NBA stuff is going to be coming out through what he was part of, which is going to name LeBron. LeBron gets named in this, the NBA might as well just shut down. That's it. End of story.
I don't think it'll ever get to that point, though. I don't think they're not gonna do their golden goose. I agree. The Mitchell report, I mean, but what are you gonna do? You're not gonna do anything.
Free mug at the game. I'm trying to get us some swag from the teams. Nashville.
Oh. Kudos to them.
All right, I'm gonna get us back on track real fast.
My West Coast team.
I'm gonna get us back on track. I want to say I 100% agree with you about Russia. It's not the Olympics. The Olympics are about sports. It should not be about politics. You're talking to somebody who witnessed baseball being boycotted, USA teams not getting to play in Olympics because of things. And it always boils down to if the politicians could sit in a room and eat dinner and spend billions amongst themselves, then the kids should be able to get out and play sports. And at this point, we're not talking about kids. It's NHL players. Unfortunately, it's not the 1980 U.S. Olympic team. But people watch this, and the best athletes in the world should be taking part in it, in my humble opinion.
Everyone's going to have their opinion. Some people are going to like it, some people aren't. But you know what? I think it would increase ratings. I mean, Russia, Canada, Russia, U.S., Russia, Finland.
Absolutely. And listen, they'd go in as the biggest heels in the tournament. It would make the games very intense.
Yeah. I mean, you have legitimately 5 or 6 teams that could win the cup.
Absolutely. But whoever has the biggest advantage at won't win.
Gold medal. Sam, I'm thinking
the Swedes have no chance. The Swedes have no chance.
Yeah.
Mika Zibanejad would just fan and miss on the gold medal winning shot, and they'd go the other way 2-on-1 and give up a goal, and that would be the end of it. I don't know if you've ever seen that happen, but I have multiple times this week alone.
Just the season.
Just this season.
That cost them multiple games.
Let's get to a couple of rumors that Frank Cervelli brought up one today, and Barry Trotz tonight created a little bit of a stir on Nashville radio. 102.5 The Game. You can go on. There's a stream of it that you can, go back and listen to if you want to listen to it online. But Barry Trotz every Tuesday evening does a 1-hour show with Willie Donick and Chris Mason. Their afternoon drive people. Willie Donick is the voice of the Preds. Barry Trotz is a very open and honest man. Great guy. I've met Barry 100 times. He's been very nice to me in the past as a person. So I want to say, first of all, I'm a Barry Trotz fan. But growing up with the organization that we have, just make an example. Chris Drury. When's the last time anyone's seen him, heard from him, or even seen an interview of Chris? It has not existed. Since Dolan has taken over the Rangers, Glenn Sader set a precedent of I'm not going to be media friendly, and we have never seen an upper front office person since Phil Esposito. Okay, to be honest, Neil Smith was around. Neil Smith did interviews. I should be honest about that. But today, Barry Trotz dropped what could be potentially a bombshell. Barry Trotz says he has already spoken to Steven Stamkos about if things aren't turning around soon, if Steve would want to go somewhere else. The honesty of the interview, one, was amazing. He said, I don't want him to leave. I want him to get red hot and fall in love with being here and want to be here. He also said it's hard for a player to make adjustments when he played in somewhere so long and was such a hero somewhere that his exact words are going to build a monument and a statue to him the day he retires to break in with a different organization. What is your opinion about, first of all, Stamkos, the awful season he's having already? He's got 3 points. And do you foresee someone like him being able to be moved this year, or do you think that he is just not fitting in Nashville, but they're stuck with him?
Well, real quick, you mentioned Barry Trotz. I actually met Barry Trotz a couple times when I worked in a pizzeria in Long Island, and when he was coaching the Islanders, he got exactly what kind of pizza you'd think he got. Pepperoni, sausage, meatball, on a pie to go. I've met him a couple times. Great guy. Obviously a great coach in Washington. He was the best coach the Islanders had since the 80s. He brought that franchise to back-to-back conference finals. So I want him to succeed in Nashville. Nashville had a disastrous season last year. They were the free agency winners of last year, not just Stamkos. They got Marchessault, they got Brady Shea. Everyone thought after they made the playoffs in 2024 that they'd add these free agents and all of a sudden they take off and they take that next step. They failed miserably. And then this year, not a great start either.
A little something that you might not know, Matt, that got me in a lot of heat over here in Nashville. I got banned from a couple different radio shows. I had all 3 contracts to the dollar 3 days before they were signed for each of the players. I was called out by the Nashville media. I actually had one reporter go as far as putting me in a column saying I'm not a source to not listen to me, that it's not happening. That was on the Brady Shea deal. I have a lot of sources in this league that people don't know about. I'm just a local guy who sits in my house, watches a shit ton of hockey, and talks to a lot of players behind the scenes. But I broke all 3 players there, as well as the Askarov asking for a trade, which the Nashville media went out and said he never asked for a trade. This is not true. Don't listen to this gentleman. We don't even know who he is. 2 days later, Barry Trotz came on and said the second his people asked to be dealt, we got rid of him. So I just want people to know when it comes to different things, I also want to go on the record and say the second they signed Brady Shea, I called it a mistake. And I'm going to tell you why. He's not a physical defenseman. He's not an overly offensive defenseman. He's not great in his own zone. He's a first-round pick who's been moved now twice in 5 years. There's something up to it. People catch on really quick. He's not a top 3 defenseman. He's a 4, 5, 6, and people are paying him 1-2 money, and they're getting let down.
Well, the original question was Stamkos, but I don't think that Shea contract.
Well, go back to Stamkos. I'm sorry, but I got distracted because we have our first goal on Hockey Night. Hockey Night USA. Tampa Bay has just gone up 1-0 on Nashville, live right here.
They were my pick for the East to win the East, and they had a horrible start, 1-2 in a row. We can see if they can make it 3 in a row. Back to Stamkos' former team, Tampa, and now current team, Nashville. That contract is totally movable. So even at $8.5 million, the cap is going up. The Nationals are probably going to have to eat some dollars, but I think to have a two-time Stanley Cup winner who's been to 4 Stanley Cup finals, I think somebody will gamble on him. Somebody with cap, somebody you can slide him right in. Think of a team like Montreal. Maybe they need a little more playoff. Uh, you always talk about Crosby. Crosby's not going anywhere as long as the Penguins are playing well. I mean, Montreal, that's a pipe dream. But you can get another Canadian that's a 500 goal scorer in Stamkos, put him on one of the top 2 lines, add a little experience there. They have the cap for it. You look at Carolina; they're in a great cap situation. Stamkos can be moved, but I think it's someone who's going to take a flyer on him. I think it's going to be kind of similar to, if you remember a couple of years back with Kuznetsov, when he got traded to Carolina for like a third-round pick, where he had, just Carolina just had the cap. It was almost like a cap dump to, and they kind of just said, okay, he's having a terrible year in Washington. Let's see what he can do. So it's not going to be high value. I don't even think you're going to get a second in return. I think, if you get Stamkos, you're going to have to eat some dollars, maybe get a third-round pick back because you're just playing that bad unless he heats up or something like that.
I think it's going to be a very, very interesting trade deadline this year. I think injuries are going to play a key part of it. I think the playoff cap is going to play a huge part in it. But I also think you're going to have Panarin. You're going to have...
And LTIR.
Yes, absolutely.
LTIR.
We both know the Rangers are going to be out of it probably by December. They'll be done. So you're going to have guys like Zibanejad. They're going to want to try to convince to move. They're going to try to convince Panarin to move. They have some chips.
They'll move Panarin, no problem. I feel he's a UFA. The biggest name, in my opinion, on the trade market would probably be Alex Tuch if Buffalo falters. Only $4.5 million cap hit. So if you eat half of that, that's only 2.25. Top 6 forward, big guy, can play wing or center. That's probably the number one guy. Panarin, you might say, has more skill than Alex Tuch, but the contract and
that's the age. The age difference means a lot.
Right, but contending teams are usually pushed up to the cap. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to see who takes Panarin. I wouldn't be surprised if a team like Florida slides in there and gets, he's good friends with Bobrovsky,
Well, Carolina Hurricanes today were mentioned by Frank Cervelli as a destination for Panarin, which is very interesting to me. First of all, here's why. When the Miller trade went down, I researched Carolina's prospect pool. They're not very deep. We took their top 3 prospect. Some people had him 2, some people had him 3 in Morrow. He came back. There's really not a lot of NHL-ready talent in Carolina. So I don't see Carolina, unless it comes down to something like a first and 2 twos, getting Panarin. The Rangers are going to make him overpay. I still think he's going to the Wild. I think you mentioned Florida today online to me when we were texting. I could see Florida. I mean, here we go again. This team seems to have endless pockets. But the dark horse to me also now, Las Vegas.
How do they have the cap?
They're going to have 4 guys go on long-term LI, and then you never know what they're going to do. They just rewrite the cap every year. I don't know what they do out there. I want their calculator when I get paid.
He would not be a very good fit in Vegas. So you have Marner as a soft wing, Panarin on as a soft wing. You lost Mark Stone. You're going to replace him with Panarin. That would not be a good fit in Vegas. Absolutely not.
What do you think about the Los Angeles Kings?
If anything, I could see Montreal. They have the cap. They're in a good cap situation. Maybe somebody like a Vancouver, if they get streaky, they need to add to the top 6. I don't know.
Don't forget, you got to get him to waive, too. I don't think he's going to waive for Vancouver. I just don't.
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's going to go somewhere he wants to go. Florida. I don't even know if he'd go to Carolina, to be honest with you. But Carolina, to me, the Panarin deal doesn't make sense. How many times are they going to go for the big winger and miss? Miss with Gensel, miss with Rantanen.
I'm okay with them missing.
Biggest issue, I've said it to you 1,000 times. Carolina's biggest issue that's really, if they solve this issue, they're probably Stanley Cup contenders for sure. I mean, they're already Stanley Cup contenders for sure, but I'm talking like favorites. If they get a second line center, it's Aho or bust. That Aho line is always really, really solid, and then they just can't get consistent scoring in the second line. So they'd be a team that I'd look at, probably Mika Zibanejad, if they do want to put Alex Tuch as center. That's what they really need to focus on. Focusing on these wingers, they go for them.
I think Buffalo can convince a guy like Tuch to stay with their recent, actually really solid play. I mean, maybe this team is gelling a little bit.
Well, that's something I got a lot of Utah Mammoth fans, and I wanted JJ Peterka on the Rangers. And When that J.J. Peterka trade went down, and they traded him to Utah, and there was no picks back, and it was for Doan and Kesselring, and I was like, that's a terrible trade for Buffalo. But hey, you know what? Peterka's doing great in Utah. Utah's on fire.
He's a friend of mine. He's a great kid too.
They're a piece or two away from contending. Let me tell you right now, Utah. Okay, Schmaltz is leading the league in points. Logan Cooley, Clayton Keller, Peterka, they're loaded. Okay, but Buffalo getting Kesselring and Doan to solidify the bottom six. Buffalo's got the talent. I mean, you had two number one picks on that defense. Bowen Byram, who's a number four pick and a Stanley Cup winner. It's got like they can develop talent. It's just they're unfortunately in Buffalo, which no player really has any desire to go to Buffalo because of the weather, because of the location. But they develop talent. I mean, look at how many Stanley Cup winners can you go back and find a former Buffalo Sabre on? I mean, they're always right there. If they just put it together and they create a culture and a core that they want to stay together, they'll be a very good team because they know how to draft.
I think Buffalo's very solidly coached. I think they have great veteran leadership with guys like Zucker and these guys who've been through the wars and the playoffs all the time. Peterka, God, he would have looked good in a New York Ranger uniform, but didn't happen.
Right wing, too.
I mean, you know what the deal was? He was too young and not controversial enough to be a New York Ranger. If he was 32, he would have been all over this team.
And probably had double the salary, too.
Yeah, and he would have got an extension, which is great. He would have played until he was 47. Matt, give me some news around the NHL, some injuries, some surprises, maybe some signings. I know we had the firing in Washington. They lost a coach. I know Brad Marchand's just taken a leave of absence from the Panthers. What news you got going around the league?
Well, I just want to touch on Marchand real quick. Marchand is really, Florida, how much more can Florida take? I mean, you're talking to Chuck, talking Barkov, Kulikov, and now Marchand. I mean, and there's
what's his name? The kid who played for the Rangers, the defenseman. Mikola. Is he long-term injured or is he back already?
I don't think it's long-term. I don't think he's back just yet.
Okay.
I don't think he's back. But Florida's a team that, before all the injuries, I thought they would run it back. And now, you never know when these guys get back. They're just getting banged around.
Hey, listen, I brought this up on another show that you're on with me, and I stated Florida's played in the last 3 years more hockey than any other team in the last 20 years. Between Game 7s, length of series, preseason, NHL, USA, four nations, their stars have played a lot of hockey.
Right.
And I think it's catching up a little bit.
They said what? Sunrise to Edmonton was the longest distance in Stanley Cup history, and they did that twice. So that's not easy going, 3,000 something miles? I think it's a little north of 3,000 miles. So they played a lot of hockey. Speaking of Edmonton, Connor McDavid, 1 goal. Alex Ovechkin, guy's struggling right now. Ovechkin, I don't think he's going to break 20 goals this season. McDavid, I don't know what's up with him. He signed the contract for less. I don't know if he knows that he still has to be Connor McDavid. He can't play like a $12.5 million player. He should be playing like a $20 million player like he is.
I've watched a few Edmonton games this year. He's passing up a lot of opportunities. He's passed first this season, which is, it's obviously a good thing for the team, but he's not being selfish enough right now. I've watched it. He's not taking shots. He's away from the net instead of going to the net. He's playing a little bit different right now. Maybe something's up, maybe not. Maybe he's settling in. Maybe the contract would wait a little bit on him, and he's got to settle into being back up there. But he'll straighten out just fine. But you just said something that's really interesting to me. You don't think Alex is going to break 20 goals this year?
I don't think he's going to break 20 goals this year. I think he metaphorically blew his load last year. They force-fed him all the time. They wanted him to break the record. He has a sensational year at his age.
Wow, Kotze's rubbing off on you.
I think this year is just a kind of kumbaya year. He's on the last year of that big deal. I don't know. That's just my bold prediction. And if he does break 20, I don't think he gets north of 25. I don't see it. But there's one thing I want to ask you. One of the trades that went down a couple days ago. Chicago trading Lucas Reichel for a fourth-round pick to Vancouver. I mean, I think that's a steal for the Canucks.
They got a little bit of youth and some toughness back. Reichel's a tough kid. You notice it happened right after Tom Wilson did another, probably ended Heedle's career, unfortunately.
You say that all the time.
No, we've been saying it for 4 years, but at this point now, there's got to be some severe conversation about, hey, listen, let's be honest. For people who are not in the New York area, he came back last year and at one point collapsed during practice. It wasn't really national news. He collapsed and ended up being out just another week or two and then was back again. But he literally blacked out at a skate. He was a great young man. I've met him multiple times. I'm really disappointed he's injured. He's a talented hockey player. But you know what? He never stopped looking at his own passes. He never played with his heads up. And he got hurt viciously each time he's been hurt. And I think it's time for him to think about doing something else. I mean, he's still functionable as a human being. It's time for him to walk away. But get back to the trade. It's a steal for Vancouver. Something's up in Chicago. Maybe they just have, and you know what? Good for them. Maybe they just have such an overflow of good young talent that there was no room.
But I get that. I get that. I get you had to move him. Maybe you had somebody, coming in the wings right now. But a fourth-round pick? I mean, and he was playing good. I mean, I think he only played 5 games for them, had 2 goals, 2 assists. I mean, pretty damn good for 5
He's outscoring JT Miller? What?
I mean, Vancouver could certainly use it.
I hear you. Hey, real fast, we got Goofhead in the chat room. He said the problem with the fights during the U.S.-Canada game was people who loved the fights and intensity they saw then went to games and didn't see even close to that products. You're right, 100% right, goofball. But I think people can't go to a Ranger-Detroit Red Wing game and expect to see the intensity of a Canadian-U.S. game. I have a T-shirt for sale on my TikTok shop. If you see it, it says, "It's not the Olympics, it's war." And it's the 2 flags smashing into each other. It was national pride. It was civic pride. It was my mom drove me 8 hours every day to the rink while my dad drove a truck and was able to come on the weekends. And in Canada, my dad was on the farm and couldn't watch me play until we were teenagers. And I'm paying my family back for everything they did. Fortunately, the NHL, it's $12 million guy versus $11 million guy who's making wine and he wants to get a bottle, so they don't want to hit each other. And the NHL has become really watered down. But I will say this season, the intensity in the NHL is back. There's a lot of scrums. There's a lot of fights. There's a lot of bigger guys back. I think the sissification of the NHL is moved on a little bit, and I'm really happy with that as the person I am. I'm going to admit it, man. I went through an era 5 years ago. I almost gave up on this game because it was like watching figure skating, and I couldn't stand it anymore. But the physicality is creeping back into the game. I hope you watch games now and not expect gang fights. I love a good scrap. I mean, unfortunately for me, my favorite player, Matt Rempe, God only knows what's wrong because we can't get a commitment from any NHL source or even New York media to say, is this a concussion? Now, I've heard a broken eardrum and I heard a broken wrist. So I'm not sure what's going on with the kid.
That's 2 completely different things.
Here's what I'm going to say with Rempe. People are all over Rempe. If you go on Twitter, he might be the most hated guy in hockey since Dave Schultz. People think this kid's just a dumb goon. They don't watch the game. He's playing power play time. He's been doing really well. Rempe's a terrible fighter. Okay? People who want to see the kid fight are wishing him death. He's not a great fighter.
I'm going to cut you off. He's a terrible fighter, but he's got a set of cojones.
Bigger than his legs. Of course he does. But what I was getting to with Matt Rempe is
he didn't try to blindside Reeves. You can make a case about some dirty hits that he had throughout his career, but he squared off one-on-one with Reeves.
He took 2 bombs and he got back up, and I'll tell you what, at the end of the fight, he was winning the fight.
And he got him towards the end. He did get him towards the end. And Reeves knew that he got him in the end. He even said they planned that out and this and that. And credit to Rempe because he's trying to spark this lifeless team that I don't think a lightning rod could spark them at this point. But credit to him. He tried to fire the team up, and I mean, I don't know.
Where I was going with it was they showed him in the penalty box, and he was okay. Like he wasn't groggy. He wasn't like head down, shaking his head or anything like a concussion. He was talking to Reeves, and they were going back and forth at it. Somebody there said that when he was skating off, someone said he was holding his arm. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm in Nashville. But I wish you'd get better reports on injuries in the NHL. Come out and say it's an arm, it's a neck, it's a shoulder. He blew his eardrum out. And if it is a
Upper
concussion,
body, lower body. That's it.
that's it. That's all you got.
Upper body and lower body.
Why aren't people talking about Connor Sheary only being the Rangers in the NHL due to his wife being Coach Mike Sullivan's niece? He's on the number 2 power play, next man up in the next 2 lines. Connor Sheary is the least of our worries right now, okay? JT Miller, as a New York Ranger fan the other night, proved everything I've said, and he could back me up. This kid, Matty's been on all the shows with me. I said there's something wrong with Miller at game 1. He's not engaging, okay? He's not physical. He's getting pushed off a puck. He's showing zero core strength. Whatever happened to him in the preseason is not healed. If he's playing with a brace, if he's playing taped up, whatever it is. And the other day, watching that man almost puke on the bench in Calgary on a 1 minute and 37-second shift is very suspicious to me. There's something wrong with this team. The Rangers are hiding injuries to Miller. They're not gelling. They're not. Listen, let's be honest. They ran into 3 red-hot goalies in a row. They could have scored 6 goals on Charlie Lindgren. It was one of the best goaltending performances I've ever seen. Okay? Then
Skinner was great too.
I'm sorry, Skinner was excellent also, 100%. And then I forget who the next game was against. They played in
Montreal, Toronto. I'm sorry.
Toronto. He played fantastic too. So the Rangers have gotten chances. Listen, Connor Sheary, Chris Kostopoulos makes a great point. Give these guys 10, 15 games and let them weed themselves out. He's a great depth signing. He's not hurting anybody. I'd rather have him in the lineup than certain people. I don't want to get too deep into it. I get too personal and I have an attack. I think Edstrom should be getting first-line minutes right now. If you need to bump a kid up and you want to see somebody get an audition, give the kid an audition. Enough with the bullshit, okay? I didn't want to get to where I'm going to get right now, and he knows I'm losing my temper. Adam Edstrom deserves to be a top 6 winger on the New York Rangers right now with injuries and the fact that he has had more scoring chances. It also leads me to say this. Sam Carrick needs to get locked up immediately for next season. Lock him down immediately if you're a New York Ranger fan. This poor guy has killed penalties, scored goals, had more chances than any center on the organization. He wins faceoffs. Tonight, the 4th line, having Parsonen on it. Why is Otherman scratched for the New York Rangers tonight? Could you answer me that, God's plan? Hey, Goofhead, are you still in here? Can anybody tell me why he scratched tonight? Why did you bring him up?
You bring him for one game. One game. I mean, listen, getting back to your JT Miller point, he got hurt in the preseason, and I called him out. You heard me call him out. I said, you put the C on his chest, made him captain because he's fiery. He's an enigma. He's in a lightning rod. There's no fire right now. And you said he's breathing heavily. I honestly think he might have a cracked rib or something like that, because he's breathing heavily. If you ever crack a rib, that's very hard.
Or you're just out of shape because you can't skate on your knees on your days off.
Yeah.
And you're 32 years old and you're injured and you're not 21 anymore and it's not healing as fast as it used to.
Right.
Okay, so we got a breaking news. We have Boston just went ahead of the Islanders 3-2 on Hockey Night USA. Let's go Bruins. I'm a big Boston Bruin fan. My whole life, actually. WSBK. Derek Sanderson used to love the Bruins as a little kid. Anybody who beats the Islanders is good in my book. Getting back to the Rangers real fast.
I'm a bad Ranger fan. I can't truly hate the Islanders living on Long Island.
No, bro, I don't want to hear that. And next thing you're going to tell me is you eat pineapple freaking pizza, and then we're really not going to be friends.
Pineapple pizza is fantastic.
You're done.
Hawaiian people get
Matt, goodbye. It was nice talking to Matty.
Matty, Hawaiian people seem upset to you.
We will have audition for a new host next week on Hockey Night USA. Matty's been cut.
Damn, that was short-lived.
Man.
Getting back to this Ranger topic, I mean, it's rinse, wash, and repeat. It's rinse, wash, and repeat over and over again with these veteran coaches that are here to win now. And they always play the veterans, and we got the guys signed. And, if you really want to rebuild, you got to suck. You got to be San Jose. You got to be Chicago. You got to be Montreal. You just got to flat out suck for 2-3 years, not sign any big guys, and if you do take big salary, it's got to be cap dumps that's attached to second or third or first round pick that you take on with you. You look at Utah. They have the Rangers' second round pick. Why do they have the Rangers' second round pick? Because they have they took Patrick Nemeth's contract, which was only $2.5 million. They got a second round pick for it. Now the Rangers are going to suck this year, and they're probably going to have a second round pick in the 30s, right? Which is almost like a first round pick. So that's what you have to do. If you're any team that's rebuilding, you have to just flat out suck. I said this about the Rangers. Boston is in a kind of similar position. I mean, they have Pasternak, which is basically a Ferrari in a halfway house right now. That's what Pasternak is. They already traded Carlo and Marchand. Boston probably needs to kickstart, needs to rebuild. The Rangers and Boston are probably the two worst teams in position in the National Hockey League, and I'd say the Rangers are worse than them. Yeah, I mean, Boston at least has Pasternak and McAvoy, and those are decent trade assets. Rangers don't have any decent trade assets right now.
I can't argue a single point that you just said, to be honest with you. Now, real quick, I just flashed something up on the screen. This is just me talking. I think if you're a betting man tonight, I will bet you 5 pizzas on the over, because I got a feeling Jonathan Quick's going to play tonight, and the Rangers are going to get lit up.
He is playing tonight.
Okay, so Quickie's in net tonight. Vancouver, they've got injuries. Yeah, I'm saying Vancouver 5-3 tonight is my prediction on the game. So I think that it's the over. And listen, guys, we're going to make something clear here. We're not sponsored by any betting sites, anything like that. We don't want anybody losing money. We're just talking for fun here. But I mean, if I was betting tonight, I would say the Rangers are they're going to cover the over tonight.
Seems very low. I would jump on that, people.
Yeah. Now, getting back real quickly to the NHL, we were talking about a couple different things here, but we got off topic with the Rangers. There is some players around the league this year that are just off to fantastic starts. Young guys that were drafted first overall. Let's talk a little bit about Celebrini, man. Wow, that's a number 1 overall pick right there.
Yeah, I mean, everyone talks Celebrini, Bedard, and you could obviously say Celebrini is better than Bedard right at this point, but Celebrini's playing himself into the heart. I mean, he might crack 100 points this season as a teenager, which would be mind-blowing if he could. What is his prime going to be like? Okay, Celebrini has Connor McDavid-esque potential.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be Connor McDavid, but Connor McDavid in his prime, Celebrini in his prime.
That kid playing next to him too, Will Smith.
Like McKinnon when he's on his game, he's right there with McDavid, Nathan McKinnon. Okay, Celebrini has the ability to do that. Bedard, they compared him to McDavid. Probably Celebrini's closer to McDavid than. I mean, Celebrini might be more like a Crosby.
Yeah.
I mean, San Jose is going to be so good.
They've just stacked prospects, man.
If they're bad this year, and they can get top 3, and they can either get Gavin McKenna or a top defenseman in this draft. I mean, people don't even talk about Michael Misa, who was number 1 overall. He was projected to be number 1 overall before Schaefer just completely kind of took over. And Misa's starting to come around too, and that's already your 1-2 punch. They are just loaded. They'll have plenty of cap space. San Jose is going to be very good. Chicago's a little bit ahead of them. Bedard gets a lot of. They compare him to Celebrini. He gets a lot of hate. Bedard isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. He's going to have a great year this year. But Nazar over in Chicago, being that second option, that second line center, he's really stepped up, and that's why Chicago's off to a good start too. So those two teams are going to run the West, and I think Montreal and Ottawa, I think those are the two teams that are going to run the East. Ottawa's playing really, really well. 14 goals in the last 2 games without Brady Tkachuk. That offense is loaded. Long Islander Shane Pinto, he's playing really well. Got to give him a shout out to my fellow Long Islander there. I like a lot of Ottawa a little bit more before the season than Montreal, but I think the future of the NHL is San Jose, Chicago, and the West. That's going to be like Chicago, LA in the early 2010s.
I love the San Jose Sharks. I like what they've done, and I'm going to say this, and people are going to look at me and go, what are you talking about? I absolutely love one acquisition that they made this year, and you know where I'm going with this. Getting Ryan Reeves on the San Jose Sharks. The best year that Alex Lafreniere had, his best friend on the team and bodyguard was Ryan Reeves. He brought an edge to Laffy. He pushed him in practice. He tried to teach the kid how to fight. He taught him how to go into corners. When the game would open, it was him, Igor, and Reeves at the front yelling release. And it was always Lafreniere and Reeves and Shesterkin. And everywhere Reeves goes, all you hear about is he's the best influence in the locker room. He's a veteran. He does everything right. And nobody F's with his team when he's on the ice.
Nobody's touching those kids.
Nobody's touching those kids or they're dead. Plain and simple. All right, he proved it the other night. He's still a top 2 fighter in the league. I mean, Olivier's number one, Reeves is number one. Okay, you got Wi-Fi, you got a bunch of guys all up there challenging, but you know what? I'd still take Reeves on my team any day of the week, any day. Now
He's got 2 goals, more than Connor McDavid, right?
he's got more than McDavid and more than Miller. Here we go with Montreal. The Montreal Canadiens are 100%. I called it beginning of the year, my sleeper team this season. There's so much talent on that team. They've got toughness. They've got speed. They've got big horses that go and stand in front of the net. They've got guys that can clear the front of the net. They've got above average goaltending right now. This team, above average, I didn't say great, I said above average.
Average.
If they can put the pieces together, Montreal in 2 years is going to be a powerhouse. And by powerhouse, I mean 5 years they'll contend for the Stanley Cup. This year, they're going to make the playoffs. They're not going to win anything. Maybe win a round, but they're not going past the second round. Next year, second or third round. And in 2 or 3 years, they're going to be a prominent Stanley Cup contender for the next 3 to 4 years.
You have them capped at the second round?
Yes.
Okay. I don't say it's going to happen, but what team in the East is head and shoulders better than Montreal right now?
New Jersey. New Jersey. I hate to say those words. Look behind me. You think I want to say that? Do you think I have one bone in my body that likes that team?
I don't think they're head and shoulders better. I don't think they're head.
Much better goaltending. Much better goaltending.
They're riding an 8-game winning streak. Of course, they're playing great.
But they got an 8-game winning streak without a goalie. They're playing with a backup goalie. The Devils don't even have their number one. That's the difference between the Devils and Montreal. The Devils have a legit number one Stanley Cup champion potential goaltender.
They've been on an 8-game winning streak with 3 different goalies, and credit to them. But the biggest question mark on the Devils is staying healthy. Jack Hughes, and the kid gets hurt a lot.
Oh, listen, I'm not arguing with you, Matty. I listen, the worst thing I ever would see is them hold a cup. I never want to see it.
I trust Montreal's ability to overcome an injury more than I trust New Jersey. And New Jersey is injury prone. New Jersey stays fully healthy right now. They probably beat Montreal in 7, home ice. But also you got to keep in mind, I've said it a couple times earlier in the show, Montreal's got a good cap situation. They are going to make a move. Carolina and Montreal are going to make big moves at this deadline. New Jersey's pressed right up against the cap. They can't do too much. They got to shed some salary in order to do that. So I'm banking on Montreal making a big move at the deadline, and they're competing. But Montreal is going to be so good for a couple of reasons. Not only do they have the overflow of talent, those contracts, especially with the cap going up, Suzuki, Hudson, I mean, they've signed these guys for fantastic team-friendly deals. I mean, when you think of Lane Hudson got, 8.8? 8.8 mil?
Matt, you're talking to me, buddy. I was all over him. I'm telling you, I think they're going to be predominant Stanley Cup contenders for years and years to come. I just don't think this year.
How many defensemen right now is he better than that are making more than him?
75% of the people making more than him right now, he's better than.
Okay. And the cap is only going up. So in 4 years, 8.8 million is essentially like 6 million, right? Right now. Fantastic deal. So Montreal is going to be doing really, really well. I like it a lot, man.
I just think the East is stacked, Matty. I think you got the Devils. I think you have Ottawa, which you named 100%. You have Florida still there. You have Toronto still there. The hockey is in the East this year.
Toronto doesn't make the playoffs this year.
Oh, can we put some? All right, what kind of bet are we putting on that? Let's make a bet on that.
What are we doing?
You tell me. You name it. I'm down for anything. I don't care.
Okay, we'll come up with something, or somebody leave something in the comments on that. Toronto does not make the playoffs. I said it before this.
Hold on, I gotta bookmark that. Hold on, give me a second. I gotta bookmark that for a magic clip for tomorrow. I gotta see that all over the internet. All right, go ahead. We're at the 46-minute mark. We've marked the show. Matty the Clips is saying, this is breaking news, everybody. I want everybody to listen up because this is big news. This might be this kid's first major breaking story on Hockey Night USA, and I love this kid to death. I think nobody works harder to get his name out there right now than Matty. Matty, the stage is all yours. Take it.
The Toronto Maple Leafs will choke before the playoffs because they will not make the playoffs. And you're going to find out, and I said it before the season, you can check my social media, It's a lot more Matthews than Marner. They used Marner as a scapegoat. They're struggling to score without Marner. We kept hearing they had depth, they had depth, they have depth. They're struggling right now. Montreal is going to get one of those top seeds in the Atlantic. Ottawa's going to get another top seed in the Atlantic. I think Toronto doesn't get in. I think Tampa comes back. I think Detroit finishes ahead of them. I do not think Toronto gets into the playoffs this year. Just based on how I see first 10 games.
That's crazy.
Roast me all you want, people. I'm the heel now, I guess. What happened, Ricky? Babyface turn.
Maddie, all I can tell you right now is that you are one live gangster.
Luckily, I don't
being president of the United States.
So.
You are gangster with that prediction. I don't even know what to say. I guess we're going to go to our first sound effect, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give you a sound effect at this time. You ready? This is for you, Maddie. Take a bow. I can't even do sound effects. Look at me. I'm stupid. But I just want to say, that's a bold prediction. I think Montreal is really good. I think Toronto is really good. I think Toronto, you may have said something there.
Really good? You think Toronto is really good?
I do. I just think that they haven't hit their stride yet. But listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Listen, again, if it doesn't bleed red, white, and blue, listen, I don't want to see a Canadian team win the cup for the next 50 years. I'm an American. I bleed red, white, and blue. I love my Olympic teams. I love my stuff. I don't know if you can see my wall. There's a Mark Pavlich jersey over there hanging up on the wall. I got a Ruzioni over here. I got Jim Craig over there. I love the United States. My team was the 1980 Olympic team. I was 10 years old. I watched those games. You know, people don't realize, one second about this. I'm going to go on a little tirade here. Back in the day, the Olympic Games were broadcast on tape delay at 10, 11 o'clock at night. The game was already over. There was this thing called Sports Phone, 976-2020. You used to dial it on your phone. It was 20 cents a minute, and it would give you all the scores. So you would call Sports Phone to find out the game was over. USA wins 3-2. And then you'd stay up and watch it as a 10-year-old. My parents would think I'm in bed. I had a 10-inch black and white TV. The minute they went in their bedroom and shut the door, I snuck the TV under my bed blankets and watched it on a TV like this. They won the gold medal. I was in Cangelosi's Deli. Not Italian whatsoever, Cangelosi's Deli in Lodi, New Jersey, getting my dad a pack of cigarettes when a Ruzioni scored the goal against Russia. I watched it on the TV in the deli. You got to understand, and it's national pride. F Canada. Look, read between the lines, Canada. The only good thing about Canada is Don Cherry. Don Cherry, God bless you. You're the inspiration for this show. You're the inspiration why I do this.
Not a big poutine fan?
I'm not a what?
Poutine?
They're called disco fries. Saddlebrook Diner in New Jersey. In Long Island, you get them too. Brown gravy and mozzarella. Disco fries. F poutine. The New York Rangers don't win the cup. I want to see any other team in the league that's out of the United States win the cup. I rooted for Florida. I'll root for LA. I'll root for the Montreal Canadiens. If it's a Canadian Edmonton series, I'll root for Montreal because they're on the East Coast and they're almost in America. I don't like Canada hockey.
That's so hypocritical.
Why?
Because they're close.
They're closer. They're like New York. They're like 18 minutes out of New York.
French Canadian.
No. Montreal's a beautiful city. I've been there. Great strip clubs.
If anything, I'd root for Edmonton.
Why? Why? They're 3,000 miles away.
I think Alberta much more than Quebec.
No way. I like Quebec. I'm a Montreal guy. Great people up there. Great people. Almost like being in New York. They're like part of like northern New York.
Tell you what, if Toronto does make the playoffs, I'll buy you a croissant. Go have fun in Quebec.
I'll make you a deal. Here's the bet. In Montreal, they're known for their pastrami sandwiches. So if Toronto doesn't make the playoffs, like you said, I'll buy you a meal anywhere you want. Toronto makes the playoffs, you buy me a pastrami sandwich.
Pastrami sandwich, that's fine.
All right, so that's it. Then we have a nice little fun though. We got to start them off with little baby.
You can eat that. You can eat that live. You know.
Oh, I will munch down on that bad boy.
That's great, and I'll explain what went wrong and how my bold prediction doesn't.
Listen, you still had the guts to make the pick. That's a gutsy pick. I'll be honest with you. I mean, honestly, that's saying a lot because that's the team.
I've watched a couple Toronto games. It's early, right? But we got to be bold. We got to go out there and prove with the gut. They're just not clicking. They're missing Marner. I'm telling you, they're missing Marner. And before Mark Stone got hurt, I said it. Vegas has the best forward group in the league.
I agree.
The question with Vegas is their defense and their goaltending. Top four lines, Vegas, with Marner in there. I mean, Mark Stone is now hurt, but they're loaded. They got everything you want on the forward group. Losing Pietrangelo totally hurts that defense, and I don't trust Hill as a goaltender 100%. But, I mean, yeah, Toronto added, Dakota Johnson. They added Roy from Vegas. But you need that high-poweredness. You need that. I mean, and Matthews the last couple of years hasn't been as solid. He hasn't. He had that 69 goal a year, and since then he's gone down in goal production.
It's the mustache.
Yeah, I mean, you hear his introduction in the Four Nations face-off. It's me, Austin. Toronto has done a number on him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, it's still a ballsy pick. We got about 6 minutes left to go, Matt. We're at the 54-minute mark here on the broadcast, our first ever show, Hockey Night USA. What do you want to touch on for the rest of the night tonight? What are your games to watch for the rest of the night? What do you got going on? And give me your 3 stars of the night, even if they haven't played yet. Who you're predicting to have a standout night tonight?
Well, I mean, to me, I always like Tampa and Nashville. That game passed, but I mean, that was going on right now. I like Tampa and Nashville. I think that if JT Miller has any kind of gumption playing his former team in Vancouver, I think that he's going to have a good game. I think he's going to have 2 points tonight. JT Miller. Boston beating the Islanders right now. Is that still they're still winning right now against the Islanders? That'll be a shock. I mean, there's so much to cover. You can't even remember every team. Let's see. How's Pittsburgh doing? Did they win tonight?
No, they were losing the last I saw. I did not see a final. They were down to Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia is another team Philadelphia. Everybody in the Metro is doing real.
Everybody in the Metro is better than the Rangers. You're right. Yeah.
Correct.
I can't wait to watch this game. I'll be honest with you. I'm happy we're ending soon because I cannot wait to watch Chicago-Ottawa. I think this is going to be the game of the night.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
This is going to be
I mean,
you got Connor Bedard back in Canada. You got Chicago's an up-and-coming team. Ottawa's playing great hockey. This is going to be a good hockey game. This is going to be physical.
What's the over on that one? It's got to be 6.5, 7.5, right?
6.5.
Slam the over.
Yeah, you like the over?
5-4 game. Slam the over on that.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Because
I think I don't think Olmark played this. Sorry, did Olmark play?
Olmark's playing tonight.
No, did he? No, he's playing tonight. Okay. Well, that affects it a little.
And my mistake. The game's in Chicago. My bad. The game's in Chicago, not Ottawa.
Okay.
One thing tonight with the Ranger game, I'm going to say Vancouver wins the game tonight, and you're going to see major changes with the Rangers. I think once this road trip's over, I think you're going to see people get sent down. I think Otherman's done. He's gone. This organization's done with him. He'll be dealt in the next 2 weeks.
And you just tanked real quick. You just tanked his trade value tremendously.
Tremendous.
Bringing the kid up for one game. I mean, that shows you don't believe in him. I mean, if you were at least going to showcase him to trade him, freaking let the kid play.
Worst general manager in the National Hockey League, I'm on record as saying this, is Chris Drury. This is it.
He plays. He's a GM like in a video game. Just moves people, this and that, telegraphs everything that he wants to do. Terrible.
I just think he's terrible. He shows his hand way too early in deals. He won the Miller deal. That's the only reason I gave him a pass so far this year is the Keandre Miller deal. The Rangers stole that trade. Everybody, Miller 2 goals the first night. Next 2.
He's had some good trades. I mean, the Kako trade was a good trade. We got Borgen. I mean, getting off of Trouba, that was a decent trade. The Kreider trade is backfiring. I don't think Harry Terrence is going to do anything. And I think the Rangers, even though Kreider wasn't great for the team, they're missing him on the power play.
Chris Kreider should have been a Ranger to the day he died. He should have been the next Adam Graves, and the Rangers screwed Adam Graves also. So I'm not going to go on that tyrant tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, this was the first night of Hockey Night USA. I hope you come back. Thank you, Fathead. Thank you all the guys who were in the chat room tonight. There were some we didn't get to. Really appreciate this. I think we're going to come back Sunday evening at 7 p.m. if Maddie's available. Maddie's got a little Maddie running around, so we got to wait sometimes so he gets to bed. But we're going to come at you Sunday night after the NFL games. We'll get together, recap the weekend in hockey, and come to you once again with Hockey Night USA. Maddie, give them where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I got Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, @Lips94. I try to recap 2 games every night on TikTok. I try to post a video, probably 4 or 5 videos on YouTube a week, post some shorts and everything like that. You get 3 or 4 videos a day out of me on YouTube and TikTok mostly. So if you guys love hockey content, I try to cover the whole league, and I give my unfiltered opinion, like Toronto and your pastrami sandwich you'll never have.
Hey, Maddie, real quick. Everybody can find me at Hockey World Order on YouTube, on TikTok, Ricky Otazu on Twitter. Maddie, what do you think, real quick, of my little Laffy series so far?
Circle. Can't wait till he's not a Ranger and then can't do it no more. Well, maybe.
I got some good ones for tomorrow. If you haven't followed me, go to my TikTok, which is Hockey World Order. I have this little series. It's my little Peter Puck series of Little Laffy, which is little Alexei Lafreniere and all the places he travels to and all the things he does on his off time, which is not playing hockey successfully. So check us out. Ladies and gentlemen, it was great. Great first night. Go watch one of the 10 games that is left on tonight, and we're going to come back next Sunday evening, and we're going to talk some more hockey here on Hockey Night USA. And if you haven't had enough of Ricky and Lips, come back tomorrow on the Instigator Hockey Show on YouTube at the Instigator Hockey Show featuring Chris Kostopoulos and Paulie D. We'll see you tomorrow night. As for now, good night, guys.
See you later, guys.